Hello, hockey fans. A Minnesota Hockey Connection show is on the air. We're in downtown Duluth, City Hall at PACT-TV studios. We have Duluth Marshals head coach, Shawn Bartlette. And welcome, Shawn.
Thanks,
Glad
Jared.
to see you again.
Yeah,
Another
thanks
year.
for having me.
I bet you're excited. The season starts on Thursday. This is Tuesday already. That's right. So 2 days from now, you're playing your first game against the inner city, Duluth. Denville.
It's a little different start to the season, opening up with a section game against a very local opponent, but it's also exciting. Our guys are just ready to get going with a regular season game. The preseason scrimmages went well, and now it matters. So.
How did you do in your scrimmages?
We did well. We played really tough against a good single A St. Louis Park, and then we also had a Saturday scrimmage against Simley, which went really well. So.
All right. So you got a little look on how the kids do in real. They probably get sick of practicing with each other even after a week.
Well, we have a college team that plays in our rink as well too, and once the boys start seeing them getting after it and playing some games, they're always anxious and ready to get going. So we got a group that's hungry and excited to kick it off here on Thursday.
Right, and you got a lot of returners. I mean, seems like almost most of your forwards are coming back, top scorers for sure. And how many did you lose? How many did you lose?
We lost one defenseman. One defenseman, two forwards, and a goalie from last year's team.
Oh, okay. So you got one goalie that's a little experienced, and so you're going to have another goalie that'll come in and maybe split for the beginning of the year and find out who's playing.
Yeah, well, we kind of know what we have with Wyatt Brown. He played 6 games for us last year.
Okay.
I think he was 6-1 with a couple shutouts in there too. So he's seen the pace of play, and he's looking confident in practice, and we think he's going to be ready to go. And we got a couple other guys there that can challenge him as well too. So
okay, just looking down the list, who are the captains this year?
Yeah, so currently at the moment our leadership group remains very similar to what it did last year with Leighton Anderson. He's our captain, with Kyler Black and Odin Johnson Burnett are round out that leadership group.
Okay, Johnson, I saw him.
Yeah, we got some other guys too that are really influential leaders on our team as well. That being Bennett Sissons and Benson Peterson, who are both seniors. That they're going to round out that leadership group with some of the younger guys too. We always like to have a couple younger guys in that group and start to develop some young leaders with Sam Barry and
Sissons.
Yep, Bennett, and also Braden Hanula, who's I was just talking to him the other day. He started with us as an 8th grader, so he's a junior now, and this is going to be my 4th year of coaching him already.
Okay.
So.
Now, nice thing about this year's team, I think, more than other years, is that I think you had 5 kids in the Elite League, Upper Midwest Elite League. So
we did,
and it's funny, I was down there and I watched them. They won the playoffs.
Yeah.
Down there, and you go back the year before, I think they only won 2 or 3 games the whole year, and holy cow, what a big change. And you had a lot of Hermantown, Hibbing, and Rapids, and you guys have kind of completed the whole team almost.
It's an interesting thing that they 3 of them played last year. In last year's Elite League, and I think they had maybe 2 wins the whole fall season.
Right.
And we threw a couple more guys into that group as well too, and just going from, having 2 wins to winning the playoffs there for them was a pretty exciting thing. And I can tell you that the pace of play that they're exposed to there, especially for the 3 that played a year ago and having the second opportunity to play in it again this past fall, you can really see the development that you get from playing with those type of players and seeing the Elite League and just the overall pace of play that it requires.
Yeah, I used to work with John Russo, who started the league back in when the Wild started, like 2001, and after he got to know me better and trusted me, everyone knows like there's 10 players you can put in there right away, but then it gets a little tricky. And so he always called me for hours in the spring, and then before you know it, he was taking all my picks and that. So I loved going down there and seeing 50 games in the fall before the high school season started. And they had a lot of good Northland kids back in those days, where a lot of D1s came out of that league from the north. And so it was a fun league. But now the league is changing a little bit, where there's a lot of kids that are going out to juniors, and some aren't coming back, and a lot of them are. And it's just weird. You don't know anything until the first day of practice, because they're changing their mind minutes before. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I think as a coach you can kind of get wrapped up in that a little bit, and it's some things are out of your control, right? And,
right.
What you can do is provide the guys that want to be there with the best possible high school experience, and just expose them to opportunities and resources where they can develop, and they feel like they're in front of a coaching staff, and they're with a bunch of guys that are going to push them and help them to get to that next level, and that they don't have to leave, that they can stay put and stay with their buddies and continue to develop and not lose stride on what they feel they might be missing from going on somewhere else.
Well, I've been from day one when I came back to Minnesota and follow high school hockey again in '91. That this elite league was great because kept a lot of these kids home, but it changed a little bit. But keeping my glass half full, I think it just gives another opportunity for some other kids. When a kid goes that is very elite, goes out to juniors, and then this brings in another kid that's going to get this experience and find out what it's like to playing with. I mean, these kids go up and down that ice, and one thing I know, you take away the word defense in that league, because those goalies get peppered. They got to be bruised after every game. But it's a good experience. And I think it's good for goalies to get 40, 50 shots sometimes.
Yeah, it's good. It's obviously good to feel the puck, right?
Yeah. Instead of be a very defensive team and only get 10, 12 shots a game or something,
Well, you
fall asleep.
You certainly want to be doing the right things in front of your goaltender.
Right.
But you get into some situations where they see a lot of shots sometimes, and having a confident goalie that can handle that is certainly an asset to your program.
Right. And basically it looked like most of your kids stayed pretty healthy during that league too. So that's a good thing too.
They did, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You start Thursday night down at the Heritage Center with Duluth Denfield, and I think the game's 7:30.
7:30.
Yeah. Do you know anything about Denfield this year?
Well, we certainly know what they had last year, what they lost, and to a certain extent what they're returning. So other than that, it's it's the opening week of high school hockey, and you learn a lot of things in these first couple weeks, and we have Denfield twice on our schedule, so I would anticipate that this first game is kind of a little bit of a feeling out process to start, and then you make some adjustments and you roll based upon what you know about them from years past, and maybe some of the things that they've incorporated into their game. But no, at this point we know what we know, and we'll learn a lot about what they're doing and what they bring to the table pretty quickly once we fire it out there.
So how many kids came out for the first day of practice?
Yeah, so we got right around that 30 mark, which is exciting for
good for you guys. Yeah.
That is that's the most I've had on a Marshall roster since I started.
So it looks like you won't have to cancel if they stay healthy. You won't have to cancel any JV games or something.
No, we're fully anticipating and planning on running a full JV schedule. Now there is a little bit of crossover and some guys that we always say that these guys, they signed up to play hockey, right? Yeah. So why not play 4 periods?
Right.
So we're going to have the majority, not the majority, but a lot of our guys that we want to see further development out of, and putting them in situations where they can be leaders and have some success and throw that over to the varsity side as well too, and bring that to the varsity side, I should say. So guys signed up to play hockey, they're going to play hockey. We're going to maximize our periods.
And I know a lot of teams that will throw that fourth line on the JV team all the time, and they'll play them 2 periods, but then sometimes they're taking the best players, a line or something like that, to come up for the varsity game that are playing real good that night,
Yeah, I sometimes think it would be beneficial to play the varsity game first, because then like how many shifts did your fourth line get? Maybe they only played a period or 2. Well, in some situations, you hold guys out.
Yeah, you would know,
expecting them to be ready.
You can play them more.
Yeah.
But the state high school league doesn't understand high school hockey. No offense.
That's just as a coach.
No offense. That's just my opinion.
I'm not going to agree to that. But as a coach, it's just something you need to be mindful of. So.
And another thing with just talking JV for a while is it seems like at the end of the season, why don't you let these kids, they're not going to be on the roster for the playoffs, play JV games after the season?
Yeah.
Would that be a great idea? To get a little more games in?
There's a certain amount of contests you have to stay within, so that's something that you need to be mindful of. But one thing that we do with our program, though, is everybody practices together. Now, we at times break things out to where the right guys are getting the right reps in the right situations, but we don't have anybody hang it up once the JV season is done. They continue to come out.
Well, they can still practice.
Yeah, because we like to we
make it team oriented more.
Yeah, that and we want guys to feel and to know that they maybe they played more JVs in more JV situations than they did varsity, but that doesn't mean that opportunity is not there. Like you mentioned earlier, injury, sickness, a lot of different things could impact a roster, and we want all our guys to be ready and to be confident and to be able to step into a varsity situation. That might be very important, especially if it's playoff time.
Yeah, it's great. So I'm looking over your schedule. Still 25 games the state high school league lets you play, and another thing I thought it was kind of funny. You being a private school, you don't have any private schools in the Twin Cities. That would be great if you can get some of them. I know how hard it is to schedule nowadays because these schools down in the cities, their conferences and all that, they fill up so fast and it's almost impossible to get in. And so...
Yeah, so one of the teams that we played the last couple of years, we saw them in the Herbrook/Schwann Cup holiday tournament the last couple of years was Gentry. Yeah. And it was one of those games, the first year we played them, where we had Caden Smith in net, and they kind of peppered us. They beat us 3-1, but it was one of those games where he saw, like we were talking about, a lot of pucks.
Yeah.
And then this past year, we met them in the opening round and beat them, which was a positive thing for our group. It's one of those games in the past that, we've been striving to close the gap between us and them and be more competitive, and getting a victory over a team like that was kind of a stepping stone for us that propelled us into the rest of the season.
I see you got Northern Lakes right away. That team has a really good goalie and good first line. I heard they scrimmaged Hermantown this weekend.
I think they did. Yeah.
I never asked who won that game, but sometimes it doesn't matter on scrimmages because different coaches do different things, and you don't know who's going to be there in the first place.
And you don't know what the situation is.
Right.
Are they doing special teams, things like that, which greatly impact a game? We know that in high school hockey, a lot of the game is spent either on the power play or the penalty kill, and if you're playing 5-on-5, it's not a real
it's perimeter
situation.
Hockey mostly. And every level, though, not just high school.
Right.
It's kind of funny. But Friday night, I go to the UMD game, and they win. Every time I don't show up for the Saturday UMD game, they lose. And they haven't lost that many games, so I guess I miss only a couple Saturdays. But then I went down to the cities, and I saw really good AA teams, about 5 of them in a scrimmage all day. So they each played each other basically twice. Like there was Andover, Lakeville South, White Bear Lake, Holy Angels, and Rogers. And
Sure.
of all those teams, Rogers looked the best that day in that. But Holy Angels can be a pretty good team because they got a lot of their players back. And White Bear is White Bear. They can't. It's hard for them to get into that top 10. And let's see who else. Lakeville South. That Carter Ernst, one of the better players. He'll be probably Mr. Hockey candidate. He's going to help Lakeville South, but I don't know if they're deep enough to do anything. But we'll see. And they're in a section where they can almost get to the state tournament every year. And they got it kind of nice that way. Let's see, who else was there? Did I say White Bear, Lakeville South, Andover, and Andover lost a couple. Their goalie Pruitt. Probably would have be one of the top on the list for Frank Brizik award.
Well, we've seen him a bunch, so we know enough about him.
Now, are you happy that they're not in your section now?
I don't know about happy. It is what it is, and sometimes section realignment's not a bad thing, but. You got to beat the best teams to achieve the goals you want to, anyways. So, maybe it gives us a better opportunity to get out of our section. But there's still some very good teams we got to go through.
A couple of years ago, when you can go up and down, I thought Hibbing and Proctor were going to go up too, kind of make this all northern AA section.
Yeah,
and that's what I would like to see again, if you can. If that's ever possible again. But Andover became a very good team there for those last 5 years there. They were in our section. But Grand Rapids will always be in there all the time.
Right.
And then it's a crapshoot, basically. And maybe every 3 years, your team will have a good team, and Duluth East might have a good team, and like Rockridge, right this year, Rockridge, Grand Rapids, and Duluth Marshall are going to fight, I think, for the section championship, I think.
And then we still have Forest Lake down the road there, and they gave us a heck of a run last year, and
they lost their top scorer, though.
They did. I'll tell you what, though, we kind of pulled off a miracle a little bit last year to get through them after spotting them. I believe it was something like a 5-1, 5-2 lead going into the third. So we had to scramble to get that one, but it was definitely one of those games where you don't see those results very often. Being able to come back from that, and our guys found a way, so it was exciting.
Wow. Yeah, and then who else is in the? Northern Edge.
Edge, yeah.
That's North Branch and St. Francis, and then Cambridge, Isanti. So, I think it's 3 teams up here right now, and then we'll see what Denfeld and East can do. I mean, that's down the line, but right now I put you 3 pretty even where, hey, it's going to be fun watching you guys play each other. How many times do you play Rockridge too? Once?
Yeah, we got Rockridge and
you just play them once. You just play them once.
So. Yeah, we do.
Okay. You go. So you started Rochester series a few years back.
Last year. Yeah.
Last year was the first year. Okay. So I know you. Now you go down there this year. Yeah. I think Lords is going to be someone. I was talking to someone from Winona out in lunch yesterday. He was up here and saying Lords should be a lot better this year.
Well, they had a good team last year. Yeah. They were very young, if I remember correctly, and we'll see if they retained a lot of those younger guys, which I think they probably did. So it's it's a similar situation to our squad a couple of years ago where we were pretty young and trending in the right direction. So I expect that to be a pretty good game.
Yeah, we're just talking. I had a guest on my show that was Central Scouting, and he played growing up, he played for Superior High School, and he was on the first state championship team, and we started talking. The only reason you even got to stay in it, plus win it, was because you had to come over the border and play Minnesota teams, and they were so good back then that just helps you so much. Then he played for UWS, and they went to the championship game in D3, So it's kind of fun talking old history there.
Right.
Hey, on the Heritage, you got Superior to start out the Heritage Classic, whatever they call it now.
Yeah.
Who else is in there? Denfeld? And,
Yeah, Denfeld's in there. I think there's a Mankato team in there.
Okay.
And a couple more teams from the Twin Cities area.
Okay.
I don't have that off
okay.
top of my head, but I know we open up against Superior, so we're going to be ready for that one.
Right. And it's right at noon, 11:30 in the morning.
Yep. So we
First
have
game, Monday.
We're on the varsity and the JV side of that tournament as well too. So
They got both going. Huh?
which is good. We haven't ran a junior varsity team over the holiday break. Last year we were just on the varsity side of the Herb Brooks tournament. So this year we got all our guys going, and I think they'll be excited for that.
Well, you got Hibbing and Hermantown. The top, they're going to start out in my rankings in Class A as the top two teams, and if they had a double A schedule, they'd beat most of them.
Yeah,
because they have that very good team. So you got those. They're both away though.
Which means they were both at home last year.
Good point.
Yeah.
But,
as a program, this being my fourth year now, we talk about closing the gap between some of the games where we really just haven't been there in a while. And with a tie against Hermantown last year, and I think we lost in overtime to a very good Hibbing team last year. Those are, that's what we were wanting to see when our coaching staff put together the development model that we currently have. So We're starting to see the gap close with some of those very, very good hockey teams, and we're expecting that to continue here into the future.
And Cloquet lost a lot of they lost their first line and a D1 defenseman. And I think a lot of that first line, I think all three has the capability of playing D1. But I talking to the coach this summer, and he thinks the team is going to be very good. A lot of young players, but now they can show their stuff.
Well, Shea is an excellent coach, and I think I think you're right. I talked to a couple of people that were at some of the scrimmages they had over that way, and I know they brought some very good teams into the building over there, and I heard that Cloquet was looking pretty good. So
yeah, the only thing I never liked when they dropped down to A is they stopped playing Duluth East.
Right.
And I can't believe that, because that's was one of the biggest rivalries in the state in hockey, high school hockey, and I don't care if it's A or double A, just you're close to home. Close to each other, and get the fans excited about that. But whatever, it is what it is. And you play Grand Rapids at, what did we say, was that home or up there?
That one's at home this year.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Good. I'll have to mark that down.
And I believe that one's on the 27th.
7th, yeah, you said that, yeah.
January.
Right. Yeah, I got it there. GR. Great. So, season's going to get started. What excites you most about this year's team? That a lot of your players are coming back, or?
For sure. That's a big part of it, right? Being able to start with a strong base is going to be extremely helpful.
Right.
We talk about every game mattering, and not having to spend some time to get our feet wet to get those experiences is going to be extremely helpful. I think I've been talking to some people and saying we are ahead of where we have been the last couple of years at this point, and being able to start working on some things that took us a while the last couple of years, and we got the guys that have the tools in the box to really start building some things pretty quickly here. And so having some guys that the majority of our team returning at the varsity level is definitely something I'm excited about. But the guys are just competitors. They make it fun to come to the rink every day. They push each other to get better, and we have guys that 12 of them this past year played on the soccer team that went to the state tournament. We had a number of guys that played on the baseball team that also went to the state tournament.
So they play different sports.
Yeah,
that's
play
good.
different
I like
sports.
That. I talk about that a lot. I wish more kids do that. Like in the cities, they got all these everyone wants to compete with each other, and they play hockey all year round, and over half these kids are all burnt out by the time they're a senior in high school if they're not getting to the position they thought they should have been, you know.
Yeah, well, we at Marshall, we structure our hockey scheduling in the off season around other sports, but that doesn't mean our guys aren't continuing to develop and grow as hockey players. It's just we're mindful of that, and the ones that are focused on hockey, we want them to feel like they're getting the necessary opportunities to continue to grow as well too. But we promote them to play other sports, and I just think it helps them to be well-rounded athletes, well-rounded competitors, and I think we got a good group of the right group of those guys right now, and that to your question really excites me.
Yeah, the goalie for UMD, Guyon, he went up to one of the coaches this summer and says, I want to get better, and what do I have to do as a goalie? And the coach told him, don't worry about anything about goaltending. Go do something else this summer. Get away from the game, you know. And so he took up golf, and he's more relaxed now. It's showing so far this season. It's short. I mean, it's just the beginning, but he's playing really good.
And you know what? He's got a pretty dang good goalie coach on over there that really understands the mental side of the game as well too.
Right. So funny that how many goalie coaches out of UM that played hockey at UMD that are around, they never went back home or anything. They must like Duluth.
Yep.
Do you still have camps?
Say that again.
Camps? Do you have hockey camps that you do in the summer?
Yeah. We have our Marshall camp.
Okay.
Yeah. We that's primarily just our guys. And,
But do you have like a bantams and young kids in it at all or anything?
Yeah, we do. We do invite guys that we know are going to eventually be part of our program. But it's just it's geared for the high school players. I don't at the moment do anything currently with younger youth programs.
Yeah. Okay. And do you have any concerns that, because you've got a lot of seniors that are very good players are playing with you this year?
Yeah.
You got enough players to come back next year, you think, or right now? And or do you look ahead that far?
We do. We do look ahead, but the exciting thing about it is just working and talking to our admissions office and them sharing the calls they've been receiving, the inquiries to our school, people that are starting to really see the value in not only our education but the ability to play for a very good high school hockey team, and we think we have a lot of really good resources that we're using well that allows us to develop and promote our players. Yeah.
Well, we were talking to the head coach of Duluth Marshall Hilltopper boys hockey team, Shawn Bartlette, and his first game is Thursday night at the Duluth Heritage Center, 7:30. So get down there against Duluth Denfield. So inner city game, and it's going to be fun. The opening game of the season, and I want to thank Coach, and I want to thank Jim, Shawn, and Liz at PACT-TV Studios for producing the show. And see you at the rink.